World War I was now in motion. The French had been repelling German attacks and the British expeditionary force were now in France. Russia had been holding back on the Eastern Front, and well, it's complete chaos. But this war would not turn out as a simple, quick, it will be over by Christmas, as everyone said. This will turn into a war of attrition. Now, what I mean by war of attrition is wearing the enemy out, spending all their resources so then they get forced into a surrender. And this was done through the use of trench warfare. Now, the trench warfare lasted all the way from the Battle of the Marne, well, the first Battle of the Marne in 1914, all the way up to the German Spring Offensive in 1918. The Germans had started digging the trenches, the British had started digging their trenches. The British wanted this war over and done with, so their trenches were crude. They only had mud walls, limited sandbags. They barely used barbed wire at the beginning of it. But then by 1915, they knew they were here to last. The Germans not only had the upper hand because they had higher ground, but their trenches were made to last. So they had concrete bunkers, reinforced walls, sandbags everywhere, and tons of barbed wire, especially at the Hindenburg line. So, trench warfare was dismal. Very dismal. Because all you're waiting for is something to happen. Life in trenches was very, very appalling. You would either be writing poems, writing letters, scouting out the opposite trench, or being a runner, which was arguably the most dangerous job during the war. The trench systems would be made up of four different style of trenches. You had the frontline trench, where all the troops would be lined up for a charge. Then you had the support trench, that was a few hundred feet behind for any reserves and reinforcements. And then you had a final trench where new recruits would be sent, possibly to learn some stuff, and then they'd get sent up to the front. All these types of trenches would be linked via communication trenches. And all of these trenches were not dug in straight lines, thus to avoid risk of a German getting in and then just shooting straight down the entire thing. Now, as I say, British trenches were temporary at the beginning of the war, because as everyone said at home, the war will be over by Christmas. Turns out it wasn't. But in 1918, trench warfare came to an end with the German Spring Offensive. Now, the German shock troops were moving up so fast they had no time to dig trenches, so trenches now became obsolete. This war of attrition would drag on the war from being a couple months to a couple years. But that is a basic overview of trench warfare. Let me know what you think in the comments. And I hope you're enjoying the World War I series so far. Subscribe if you don't want to miss any of my videos that I post. And give it a like to support the channel. And I will see you for my next history video.